It's spooky time with Haunting of Ashburn House. My name is Brandon Noel. If this is your first time joining us, the Bookies podcast has absolutely nothing to do with sports betting. We are a book club podcast where we sit down and discuss the themes and writings of a particular paperback novel each month. This month we are discussing The Haunting of Ashburn House, written by Darcy Coates. I'm going to say, I've always heard it Coates, Darcy Coates, or Darcy Coates. I've heard Darcy Coates. I don't know. I'm a bad person. But if you love horror, remember that we also publish our own horror line, Terrifyingly Gruesome Tales of Horror, a series of comic books that comes out once a year, black and white anthology for just funsies. It's in the vein of the old EC comics. We've put out one a year for quite some time now. So if you want to check those out, you can check out our link tree, linktree.destinycomics. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. All those books are available on Amazon, by the way. Just type in Terrifyingly Gruesome Tales of Horror, and you'll get 4 or 5 volumes. It's a fun book. I hope you enjoy it. Without further ado, or plugging myself, this is our discussion of The Haunting of Ashburn House by Darcy Coates. I hope you enjoy the discussion, and if you've read the book, it's a really good book. So, thank you, and please comment. Let me know if you've read the book.
Laugh has been described as a chuckle.
Right.
The British guy, I know.
Yeah, you know, that one British guy. Well, there's a British teenager.
If you feel the need to read it, check it out from the library.
I don't
support your local.
Told the parent. No. And we are the Bookies.
So?
Exactly, see? So?
Show your face.
You're trash.
You dies. I know. You dies.
You're a die.
Yeah, but you're a dies. It's a dies plural, so it's got you're a dies. Your face dies. Whoa. I'm gonna go to sleep.
Still on.
It will turn off. It is connected.
So?
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.
Is it Friday? I don't light the candle anyway.
It's Friday somewhere. I don't think you can.
You know what? You're a can. There we go. Alright. It's still going, but it's okay.
But I don't want to light the candle.
That's
I want people visiting my house.
That's the continental version of a tip jar. You're a can.
You're a can.
Oh my god.
Wow. Is the AC on too?
Yeah, the AC's on. Yeah.
It was hot a little
Yeah,
before
hot.
you got here.
Yeah.
Almost 80.
Almost 80?
Yeah, that's hot to us. Inside, yeah.
Oh wow, you guys would hate my house.
Yep. I mean, we love your house, like, but yeah.
So?
My mom would run the air and the fans all day long, and it used to drive me crazy as a kid. Now that I'm older, it's like, no, I need the air. I need the.
Yeah.
I'm turning into my mother. I need the airflow.
Right?
Yeah.
Look at you.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think about turning it on when it hits like 95 in my house. I'd be
So-
dead.
He's a lizard.
See? It worked. I'm like,
Yeah, but you also work around furnaces all day. You're used to a natural heat.
it's inside the furnace is on average around 110 to 115.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So, we gotta stop doing that though. We can't do this on the recording.
That's right.
So?
Now, anytime someone says I don't like it, I'm gonna have to stop myself from saying that. So?
Okay,
That's
we
all.
are the Bookies.
So?
See, the funny thing is, we
Your
all have the
bookie.
same idea, and none of us are creative because we all have the same idea.
Hey, Bonnie, I want to say your bookie.
I am. So.
There was
Did your
starting
face.
his over.
Yes, we're
Show your face.
over.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
All right, we are the bookies. My name is Brandon Noel.
I'm Justin Stallard.
Bonnie Stallard.
Wayne Abraham.
David McFarland. Louis Lopez.
Maylene Noel.
And once again, we are the bookies. This month we are reading The Haunting of Ashburn House
Woo.
by Darcy Coates. Coates. Maylene,
Yes.
this was your pick.
How dare you.
Yep. You want to give a brief plot synopsis?
Okay, so basically, this story is about this young woman who inherits a house from a great aunt that she didn't even know she had, because her mom kept saying that, oh, we don't have any other family, basically, and anyone that we were related to is passed on. So it opens up with her going to this house, like, yeah, I actually have a house, which works out for her because she's completely broke, and she's trying to. You find out she works as an independent, like, writer or whatever, and she hasn't been paid, so she could really use this house. And from the moment she gets there, she kind of figures, you know what, this house is a little weird, and from there she finds out she inherited a haunted house. So, and then craziness, madness ensues. So, and I picked this book because, well, when I first put it in there, we had, at the time that I suggested it, we hadn't really read too many haunted, scary stories.
I don't think we've read any.
I don't think we read any that I can remember. And then we ended up reading Haunting on Hill House.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, I just want to, something a little creepy, something a little, haunted housey, whatever. So, and this was a book I'd come across but hadn't read yet. So I thought, oh, this would be a perfect time to read it. So yeah. Okay, so we're gonna start with favorite parts.
Yeah, your favorite parts.
Well, I think. I know this is probably a weird one to start off with, but one of my favorite things is basically her relationship with her cat. I know that's kind of. I know.
That's my favorite character. So
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
the
my
cat.
favorite character.
Exactly, me too. That's one of my favorite characters. I just love how she, basically, you find out she saved this cat from certain starvation and death, and the whole book she just talks to it, like, as if it was just another person, and you just love all her interactions with her cat.
which real cat owners do.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Because your cat talks to you.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, you get to know everything about them. So when the cat starts acting weird, she's like, okay, something's up. Otherwise the cat wouldn't be acting this way.
The gray monster.
Yeah, and I love how...
I love Wolfgang.
Wolfgang. And I just... Everything from the name of the cat to just her interactions with the cat. And just to devotion to this one other living creature who's like, yes, I love my cat. I'm going to save my cat, dang it. Come out of that basement, kind of thing. So, and then, so, which is, if you have a pet, you know how, that kind of love for your pet. Another thing that I absolutely loved about the story was I loved how once she, basically throughout a good hunk of the book, she's like, okay, I can't be acting stupid. I can't be acting like the stupid girl in all those horror movies who does the thing she's not gonna be doing, I'm not gonna go out unarmed in the middle of the night. I'm not gonna do this, that, the other thing, And even though at one point, we'll get to later, she does make a mistake, as far
mistake?
Well, okay.
I have a list.
In terms of this. In terms of not, like, she does something that she says she's not going to do, and she ends up with like, ugh. But she's pretty much set. She's like, look, I got to figure out a plan. I can't just leave everything up to chance. I'm gonna get this. That she prioritizes what she needs to get with her budget. She's like, okay, these are the important things, and she walks through why certain things are more important than other things. Again, I feel like it comes back to bite her in the butt later on, but at least she tries.
She's very pragmatic.
You know, she doesn't just sit back and go, oh no, what am I going to do? You know, somebody save me, you know, kind of thing. So, and then outside of that, I just liked, like, one of my favorite things about this book was just mostly the characters. I forget which one of the group it was, the girls that come to visit her. I think it was Beth,
who works in the library.
She's the one who, like, absolutely loves everything about the house.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a local historian.
I think that's why she's the one that wanted to have haunted house tours.
Yes.
I love that character. She's just so, like, enthusiastic. Like, yes, we get to take a tour of this house. Like, everything about the house she is in love with. And I think the reason why I like that is because I understand, you know, everyone here has an obsession about something. So if we got the chance to, you know, experience something that we're obsessed with, we'd all be like her. You know, like, yes, can we please do this? Oh, yes, please give me a tour of this house, you know, whatever. So you get that fangirl mentality of it, you know. So, and there are a couple other things, but I figure I'll let other people talk too. So I don't want to take everything.
Right. I read this book like really early on. I've read like 6 other books since, because this one got pushed back a little bit. But my favorite chapter, I think, is chapter, was it 33?
I think.
Because I kept telling Maylene, it's like, that's when business picks up. Like, you're like, it's a good book, but business picks up at chapter 33. That's when we're introduced to the zombie.
Not zombie. Not exactly.
More.
That's actually kind of my issue, which we'll get to later on.
Yeah.
I consider it to be a revenant.
Yes,
fair.
That's more,
A fair
That's the closest
assessment,
thing,
yeah. But like the ghoul,
Yeah.
revenant,
Revenant.
because it's throwing magic around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's smart. It's not.
Maybe a lich.
Yeah, a lich or a revenant. That would be, more than a ghoul or a zombie.
Like, it's weird because I have a problem with how early it was introduced.
So did I.
We're not talking about problems.
I know.
We're talking about likes.
But when we get there, like for me, it's like when you're watching a horror movie, you hit third act, and all of a sudden, oh, the movie I thought I was watching is not what I'm watching. Like it's a complete, okay, this is something different now. And
You thought it was too early.
I thought it was too early.
There's only 44 chapters in the book.
Yeah, but we'll get to my issues.
Good things.
Yeah, but when you get to the monster and it's a siege, like that whole from chapter 30 on or 33, like I'm hooked. Like business picked up.
Yeah.
You know, there's that moment where the next morning she comes out and she's like, okay, maybe daylight is an issue because she's making
It should be.
It should be. And then the creature's on the roof.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my heart dropped.
Oh, I know.
Like, it's like, oh.
And then you have that realization that it must have been watching her walk outside the whole time. You know, and just chose not to make itself known until she turned around.
Yeah.
I like that part. That was pretty cool because I never expected that
I didn't
thing to
expect
be
that.
out in the daytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, boom, I'm here, haha.
Like, it becomes a full-on siege horror movie.
Yeah.
Or how about when she actually stopped the smoke?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? You're like,
Again, the main character is incredibly smart because she's like, we're going to create a smoke signal. We're going
People are going to see it.
Yeah.
you know, like in a siege situation, but who knew? Like, she's going up against something she doesn't fully understand, and that's where it bites her in the ass.
yeah.
Which I feel is partly the realistic part of it. Like, if you don't know,
Right.
Some monsters, you have certain rules. Vampires, there are rules. Zombies, there are rules. Certain things, you know, everyone knows
As
those
far
rules
as we know.
As far as we know, those there
If we
are
were to
rules.
encounter one in real life, we're going to assume those things,
yeah.
and then something bad's going to happen because there's a rule we didn't know
and
about.
so she's trying her
Plenty of
best.
ammo.
Living undead of dubious origin, that's a little hard.
And she's trying her best, but like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, oh, that's not going to work out, you know.
But yeah, like I kept telling Maylene, it's like when you get to chapter 33, business picks up. Business picks up.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was just hooked from that moment So that was probably my favorite thing.
I enjoyed the book. It gave me anxiety for a lot of parts.
Yep.
It
Especially listening to it. He was listening to it at work when he's there by himself.
in the dark.
Especially since we're talking about it with candles.
Yeah.
You're a
But
candle.
yeah, because my work that has automatic lights that tend to go off and on their own sometimes, and it can be a little
So the power's going off in the book, and
But it's not that it was terribly scary, but it was very suspenseful. You know, and you're like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? So that was fun. I also liked the chapter where she's describing how she came across Wolfgang as a kitten, and
how he got his name.
Name. You know, there was no life in him, and there. But the music they were playing started playing Mozart, and he came to life on that. So that's how he got his name, Wolfgang.
Amadeus.
Amadeus.
Amadeus Mozart. Yeah.
What else? I liked the. You guys are talking about the monster on the roof. But what got me is when she jumped
Down on
down, and she goes crunch, and you're like, oh yay, that's the end of her. And then she starts standing up and straightening things out, and skull plates start moving back into place, and you're like, how are you supposed to kill something like that?
You keep on firing it.
That was fun. Bonnie?
Because Ash doesn't reanimate.
My favorite. Hers does.
Hers does, yeah.
Huh?
Hers does.
They make a point of saying that.
Yeah, at the end. She had been burned by... Twice. But she regenerates because of all the power that she took. So that's why she took, at the end, she put all the ashes in a bucket, put a candle on top, and buried it. Candle was just there as a warning to freak her out.
Well, I'd flush her down the toilet then.
I would have used a lot more cement and rebar, personally.
Yeah.
See, I actually consider the toilet thing too, but then I'm like, is she going to reanimate in the sewer? Like, where's she going to end up?
Yeah.
Who knows? Everything is going to be all blended in. And she's going to look like a poop monster now.
That's nasty. My favorite part was the very end. I loved that she still lived in a haunted house and that her aunt was there and saying, are you ready? And then the chair moves a little bit as the ghost aunt sits in it and they start reading, and that was my absolute favorite part. I love that there was a happy ending because I was getting really, for a while there I wasn't sure. And I was like, she's going to die. You know, this is going to be one of those, because Haunting a Hill House, the main character, she dies, which, kind of sucked and all that. And so I was like, I don't know. And unlike some people in the group, I didn't skip ahead to find out. So,
who did that?
No one. I wasn't me, though.
I don't like spoilers like that.
I don't either. But I wasn't sure. I was prepared for the worst, but I really loved that. And then I'm thinking, okay, if they decide to do the ghost tours, the aunt could show up in a mirror every now and again just to freak someone out. Like,
How
wouldn't
cool
that
would
be
that
great? It's the perfect setting. You've got a totally, non-menacing, but she could totally have fun with it. Like, if I was the ghost aunt, I would totally do that. That would be great. Like, come on, make my life more
Especially
interesting.
if the paintings still moved.
Yeah. The paintings, okay, that actually was worse than the monster herself for me, as far as that. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, there's some serious mental she had to go down a hallway so many times, and each time it was worse, and you're just like, oh gosh.
I'm sorry, but when she was burning stuff in the fireplace, that would have been the first things I would have been tossing in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, the pictures.
They're worth a lot of money and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I love that Aunt Edith was still a ghost there at the end, and everything had worked out. I also really liked when the ladies first showed up, and they were really just there to check out the house, but then they ended up starting to get along, and the fact that they did work things out by then, and she did have friends, and she was, you know,
Yeah.
because it's hard to move to a new place and all that. So I liked. I mean, yeah, the town was very welcoming, but they're also really curious, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked all the social interactions
Yeah.
for someone who isn't necessarily socially great. Like she's more socially, you know, awkward at a lot of things, and so I liked that.
I was waiting for because I was thinking about who is just acting friendly but they're not.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
Well, kind of ended up being Marion because she ended up being controlled by.
Yeah, but still,
But-
that wasn't her.
No, it wasn't her, but.
But
Yeah,
it seemed like
so those are, and of course I love
everyone
Wolf.
there.
Wolf was my favorite character.
It seemed like everyone in town was genuinely concerned.
It's a small town.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's why they would have showed up if the smoke hadn't been
Yeah.
magically,
Yeah.
you know, she would have totally had,
yeah,
you
backup would have came.
yeah, for sure. So, but I really liked the ending. It made me like the book a lot, actually, the way it ended. The way it ended redeemed a lot of the things that I was irritated by because I really enjoyed the ending. So.
It certainly didn't end the way I thought it would, because like you said, I thought it was going to end with
Badly.
either her dying or
Yeah.
something.
Or
like a
something.
typical-
Or her being taken over.
or
Or the
yeah.
house being burnt down.
Or a typical, what you might call a typical haunted house ending. Like something that
Yeah.
you might expect from that movie.
Like if it was a
Right.
movie, there's a jump scare at the end
jump
of the movie.
scare
Yeah.
or...
Oh, yeah, like the woman in black. You think everything's fixed in the last 10 seconds of the movie, you're like, what the?
I destroyed the entire movie. for
Totally
me.
ruined it. It should have been taken care of. That was horrible. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so the fact, like you said, that it ended the way it's like, okay, at least it wasn't like your typical,
It ended really well.
oh, her eyes glowed in the mirror or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know.
Evil Eddie laughing from next door.
All right, your turn. Wolfgang, hush. He's not gonna pet you.
I like the food.
Oh, all the stuff she had to.
All the ramen.
All the stuff she had to scrape together.
I don't mind ramen. I'm not as big a fan of canned tuna.
Oh,
I like the scones
I like
and jam.
it. Yes, I like the scones and jam.
The sardines.
Oh, she didn't have
I-
sardines.
She had
Yeah.
sardines.
I do eat sardines from time to time, so
And
I didn't
crackers.
have a problem with sardines.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with sardines either.
You know, but yeah, the scones.
We've all
the
been there.
scones and
Not
jam.
enough money and you're living
Yes,
on ramen. Yep.
exactly. So I definitely identify. She did have a few eggs in there, though. You know, that helps.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't go back and double check. Does anybody remember how many days?
Yeah, I did
This took
know.
over?
Like how
I think
many-
from the siege,
like a
I think,
week, wasn't it?
Took a
Oh, the whole thing's over about a week.
Yeah.
About a week.
Yeah, that's
Because the
About a week
siege is like
total.
yeah.
Until like the end when she was in the hospital for several
Yeah.
days and
Yeah.
so
Right.
that
But the main
extended
part
it.
of the
The main
story.
part of the story was about a week. Yeah.
I think, like, when things really started going on, like, the last 2 nights were, like, days, I want to say 4 and 5 or 5 and 6,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
When, like, all the really horrible stuff was going down.
Yeah.
When she was by herself.
Which I thought was smart because she didn't have, like, the author does a great job of limiting her resources and showing you why she's limited in her resources.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yes,
thought the author,
but wait, that's the dislikes. Go ahead.
Are you wondering how long the eggs lasted?
No.
Well, eggs last probably a couple weeks.
Eggs
Yeah.
can last longer than that,
Yeah,
depending
in
on
the
how full your
fridge.
fridge is.
But it's I liked the fact that the villagers were caring people. That doesn't usually happen in a haunted house tale.
No, everybody's against you.
Everybody's against you because of the reputation of the house that you're living in, and nobody in their right mind would live in that place,
Right.
type thing. And I liked how it ended.
Yes.
I liked the ending very much. Right in there around chapter 33, 34 is when things started getting intense. It started happening, and it wasn't like it was a slow build up to that. There were things happening, but that's when things started happening.
That's when the stuff hit the fan.
that's why I say business
Yeah.
picked up.
Yeah.
Yep.
To quote JR.
But yeah, I would say it's not your typical haunted house story.
Definitely not.
But it was a good one.
For one thing, the internet exists.
Right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Cell phones
Only when you
exist.
have power.
True. Yeah.
And a working laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job of, like Resident Evil. Have you ever played the Resident Evil games? It's survival horror, but they make a point of like limiting your resources. So it's what you do with your resources that matter. You only have X amount of bullets, and there's hundreds of zombies.
Right.
You know, in Resident Evil. So like, I felt like this book did a really good job of, these are the resources you have, and there's not much else you can do.
It is, I feel, kind of hard to do a haunted house or, general scary story like this in the modern times when you've got so many, like, cell phones, not
Right.
just landlines. And I mean, even in the 90s when Scream came out, they were working mostly with landlines. Cell phones weren't as popular as they are today, So, like, even 20, 30 years ago, they had limitations that we don't necessarily have now. Like Brad was saying, you got
Right.
the internet, you've got all sorts of things that could potentially stop certain things from happening. You're not as isolated, I guess I should say, as you were. So it's good to find when an author can come up with reasons why things are the way they are, why someone might be isolated, why why you don't have all the conveniences that you have in 2022. So.
For the most part, this author did a good job of justifying why she was isolated, like you said. Yeah, why she didn't have XYZ, whatever.
David, positives or
Positives. I like how she treated her cat. And I like how she paid attention to the cat. Because you could definitely tell that she's a cat person. Maybe the author, I'm not sure, but she definitely wrote the character Adrienne, is that her name? Yeah, Adrienne. That she was a cat person, because I always paid attention to my cat. Whenever my cat hissed or anything, or freaked out and run around the house or whatever, I'm like, I always ask my cat, I says, what the hell are you looking at? And I always paid attention to my cat, and she paid attention to the cat.
As somebody who's allergic to cats, like I, was even rooting for the cat.
Right.
And I also liked how she made sure her cat was fed over herself.
Yeah.
I've done that several times with my cat where I was broke. But I made sure that my cat got fed because my cat couldn't go out and get food. I could.
Yeah. Which, like everyone said, that it goes to go show how much she cared about it. She felt so responsible for the cat because she saved it from a young age. Like, nope, my cat's a priority in my life,
One of the things that I was trying to figure out, but I liked, was when the house got all quiet and then suddenly that burst of noise.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what the hell was that? And then, I mean, I still don't really.
The event.
I know.
It was.
Was that the Friday night?
It was her awakening. It was her gaining more power
Is
at
that what
sunset.
it was? It was
before she was able to get out of the grave.
Yeah.
Once she was out of the grave, it didn't happen anymore.
Yeah,
Because she had
okay.
enough power. So that's why at the end of the book she talks about she would keep the mirrors around, not just to converse with Edith, but if she noticed, what was it? Not Eleanor. Was the
Adrian.
no, Edith's sister.
Eleanor.
Was it Eleanor?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Eleanor.
For a second, I was like, that's all I could think of, and I thought I was wrong. I was second guessing myself. Sorry. Well, if she noticed Eleanor's eyes, then she'd know she's getting power. She needs to light the candle more often.
Yeah.
And the last warning would be if that event occurred at sunset, because it happened a couple times, 3 times before
2 or 3 times.
before she came out of the grave. So
Yeah.
that would be her,
Last warning.
no, that's the late warning, late warning system, but still not too late to do something about it. Yeah.
There was also, let me see. Yeah, about how Adrienne was having little nightmares of herself. She was having little nightmares, in chapter 7 where it was like someone was buried alive. And, I mean, obviously you didn't know back then that it was it either Eleanor? I get Eleanor. But she was having a dream because of Edith connected to her, but you didn't know that back then. And I'm going, what the hell was that? That's kind of creepy. And then chapter 14 was digging out of the coffin. You're like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
But I like, it's just like the little thing that I noticed. I liked how Adrienne blamed the cat for the tablecloth.
Right?
Right.
And you know it wasn't her. That was Edith.
Yeah.
Light the candle. Light the candle.
Yeah. But the way Adrienne, she thought it was the cat because the cat jumps on things and knocks stuff over, but it was Edith
Right.
who did it.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really neat. Let me see.
Yeah, I saw it earlier.
Let me see. Yeah, those are a bunch of gripes. But I'd have to say that my favorite character was the cat.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right, Lewis.
I got a lot of gripes,
Oh, I do
unfortunately.
too, but it's okay.
Well, I like the cat as well. The cat was one of the best characters, I think. I liked the interactions that Adrienne had with the women that came over to look at the house and basically gawk at everything. But one of my favorite moments was when Adrienne is in town asking people about the history of Ashburn House, and she's in, like, I think it was a coffee shop.
Oh, the
or
cafe,
something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think his name was George. He's basically saying that, like, my great grandpa or something was a policeman at the time when the Ashburn murders happened, and here's what actually happened. And then the elderly lady whose name I don't remember offhand, it was probably Gertrude or something.
They all died of gonorrhea or something.
Yeah,
Whatever that
and
was.
she gets cholera. She's
Yeah,
calling him
cholera.
a liar.
Like,
purely
he's the only one
because
who's right.
His
Yeah.
story contradicts everything that she's said, and she gets so offended by that she leaves.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the local gossip lady,
she
probably.
clearly doesn't know the truth. And
No,
when
but
it's-
she is right. Always.
Oh,
Right.
always, yeah. And then when a different story comes into play, and she leaves. Like, that was
You're
the
like,
funniest
everyone,
thing to
we've all
me.
known someone like
Yeah.
Oh God, it was so funny.
that. Yeah.
Oh, there was also one thing that I was hoping would happen, but it didn't happen. But I liked it, and I was expecting it, but it didn't happen. Was when they broke the teacup. And I'm going, that's like one of the treasured things in the house, all the teacup and the china, and like, oh, you just broke a cup, and you haven't even been here a couple of days.
That's an omen.
Something is gonna happen.
Right.
No, nobody cared about the teacup.
No,
No,
no
because-
one cared about the
Because
teacup.
Edith wasn't the monster, even
Yeah.
though she thought it
Yeah.
was Edith for so long.
But I was expecting something. But I'm like, ooh, broken teacup. Something's gonna happen.
It was just nervous.
I half expected it for it to reform. Like
Not too soon.
not in front of them, but like later, like she'd notice.
Didn't we?
Don't we have? Like not only that it reformed, but like it would.
Should be
it would-
missing a teacup.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and she goes back by the thing, and all the teacups are there, and she's like, "Wait, didn't we bring?
Yeah.
How many? Counting them or something like
Yeah.
that. That's what I.
That actually would have been a cool detail to have. Yeah. But yeah, there were quite a few moments in this that I liked. I liked when Adrienne went to the library, and I think her name was Sarah, the library
Sarah
worker.
that's at the
I think
library?
it was
I thought it was
Sarah.
Beth at the library.
It might have been Beth.
Sarah. I don't know.
I don't remember.
That's the historian
Yeah.
who's crazy about everything.
I think
So
she
is it
might have
Sarah
been the
that's in the
library.
I
Was she
don't
the
know.
one
I'm
in the
confused now.
library?
Anyway, the girl in the library.
Yeah, the girl
Yeah,
in the
the girl
library,
in the library.
is helping Adrienne go through all the like old newspapers, and she finds the ones that you learn Edith ended up clipping like sections out of, and she's like, "This is
You
like."
learned somebody. clipped
Well,
it.
later you
Somebody,
learned it
yeah.
was Edith, though.
Yeah.
Later.
That's what she
Yeah,
said.
you learn later
She
on,
is
yeah.
aghast that someone could cut up these old historical documents.
Right? I know. I love that. So adorable.
This is a travesty. Like, oh,
True story. I wish I could find out who it is because I beat them up.
yeah, it's like oh my heart. And then probably the last thing that like just tugged at my heartstrings was when in the beginning of the book when Adrienne meets the girls and she has this idea of like friends question mark?
Right.
Because, like, we're all adults. We know how awkward it can be to make friends as an adult.
Oh.
You can't just walk up to a kid on the playground and go, hey, do you like Pokemon? Yeah, okay, let's play tetherball, and then you've known them for 30 years. Like,
Right.
It doesn't work that way with an adult. you
It's
know?
harder
No.
to make friends as adults.
Yeah. So that was one of those moments where I'm like, oh, I feel you. I get it.
I had problems as a kid. I can't even imagine an adult. Hey, you're my friend! Ah! And I run away, you know?
That's okay. There are extroverts out there who will adopt you.
Thank you, Bonnie.
You're welcome.
So yeah, that
So-
was some of my favorite moments about the book. Yeah, I liked it. It was good. Yeah.
All right, dislikes.
Negatives, qualms.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
here we go.
Unless there were anything you liked that we didn't say because you were
No,
leaving
I
stuff for
think I pretty much mostly covered. I think the
Okay.
only other thing was I liked the lady who worked in the vet office.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know. Oh,
The one
all-
whose brother fixed your
brother
laptop.
fixed laptop. It's like all he asks is access to your road,
Was it
and
Peggy?
yeah, we're
I think
great.
it was Peggy.
Peggy.
Yeah, so
I think it was
yeah,
Peggy.
Yeah.
she was pretty cool too. Like I just liked
Yeah,
how she's
she
like,
was.
Yeah.
I love the trip to the store where you know the lady and you know and everybody like they're following down other aisles.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
was listening to that conversation. You're like,
She knows
oh,
it.
God.
She
I even
knows
thought
it.
too, like, oh, I would totally be one of the townspeople too, like just
all their if it was a cartoon, all the ears would be
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we'd be staring over the,
Yeah. Oh my
the
gosh.
divider.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Was
yeah.
there anything you needed help with finding? Oh, no, that's not why you really want to talk to me, is it? That's fine. Let's talk about Ashburn.
Although considering how that store was put together, yes, help me find things.
That's true. Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me.
I know, right?
The cat food was something completely random
Yeah.
that you wouldn't find cat food with.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember everything. Okay, so one of the things I had a problem with was the whole thing with Marianne. You know, she kind of went off her rails a little bit. You know,
Yeah, that.
I expected that to be more of a plot device. Like it was, you had the one scene with her, and you could tell something's not right. You're not quite sure what she saw or what went on, and then you don't really get a whole lot more from her until towards the end. And it's like, I felt like that was a thread that kind of got dropped as far as this overall story goes. I mean, granted, maybe the writer felt there wasn't enough to warrant her in the rest of the book, but you know, like you got
Adrian's by herself for so much of it.
yeah, true.
Which I didn't expect.
I didn't expect either. Yeah.
I expected the girls to decide to do like a girls' night hangover. We'll help you remake something, decorate or whatever,
Yeah.
and then that's when everything would happen and there'd be a group
Yeah.
in the house.
Yeah.
That's more what I expected, not just her and her cat. And, you know,
Yeah.
the heebie-jeebies.
So I don't know. I'm not saying that was absolutely needed. I just expected more of it. Another thing that I still I finished this book. I want to say about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I still don't know how I feel about the whole twin sister plot twist.
I saw it coming.
I was expecting something.
Of course
like
you did,
it.
Bonnie.
Of course, the evil twin
Of
plot
course.
twist. Of course, everyone saw that coming.
I saw it coming.
I didn't.
Of course you did, Bonnie.
But it's me. I see
Okay,
it.
Chuckles. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, the one who could tell the murderer was because of a chuckle.
That's the only character who's described as Chuckle.
But who the frick notices that?
I knew!
I'm still angry about that, by the way.
Everybody knows murderers chuckle. Always.
But you know,
I didn't expect it because of the family portraits.
yeah,
She hit it with the family portraits.
yeah. So like,
Yeah, she did a good job of hiding it, but I suspected it weirdly.
of course you did. So, but I don't know. I can't tell if I like it or if I think it's like an easy way out. Like part of me thinks it's a little bit of an easy way out, so that Edith wasn't the villain this whole time. They could have the happy ending at the end, you know. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. Like I can't say that I like it or that I disliked it. And so yeah, that's just one issue that I don't like I said, I don't know if it's an issue or not, but another thing that I didn't really care for is I guess, and this could just be me wanting more answers as the reader. I still kind of feel like I don't know the quote unquote rules with this monster.
I don't either. I have no fucking idea.
Like I don't know. Like I mentioned earlier, we've got rules for all these other monsters, but this one I'm like, okay, obviously is not stopped by the daylight. Okay,
That kinda
Moonlight
surprised me.
strengthens her.
yeah,
Candlelight hurts her.
So like
Those are the main rules,
you get
right there.
Yeah, you get some
And
of the
she
rules.
steals the perspective of
Yeah.
life of whoever she kills.
You get some of the rules from the ant.
Well, she kills.
In
But-
a very convenient cheat sheet, by the way.
Yeah, right. And it's like, okay, well,
Yeah, but she didn't get the cheat sheet,
you
so it was
get
almost
to
too
it,
late.
right?
Some of the stuff she doesn't find out till after she's burned her, you know? Like, oh, this would have been nice to know a week ago.
As I pull out my flamethrower,
Right.
and burn the whole house down.
Right.
I
She
actually
wasn't in the house
I
until the very
expected her to
end.
burn the house down. I really did.
So did I. Because as soon as I saw creepy shit in the mirrors, and then the pictures moving, I'm sorry, this house is being burnt down to the ground. I'm selling the property. I'm moving to LA.
But that wouldn't have stopped Eleanor.
I don't care.
He's out of Dodge.
I'd be in LA.
That's the mayor in Jaws' problem.
I have a
That's
feeling that Eleanor would have.
You were the
Followed her to LA.
if you were the character to inherit the house, you were the last relative, and she would have tracked you down.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would have gone to Hawaii. Let's see her get over the water.
She has nothing but time.
So do I.
So you can walk along the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
Till
Take a walk, boys. Not the boats.
So yeah, and then I think the last one, and again, this could just be a personal thing. I mean, I admit this is just probably something. She sees all these warnings: no mirrors, no, light a candle. And she goes to the attic. She sees all these candles up there, and yes, there's a part of me that's like, okay, my great aunt's a little crazy, a little weird, okay. But then at the moment
The minute stuff happens, though.
the moment I find out, not only does stuff start happening, but I find out, she did it every Friday, and that's the one Friday she didn't do it. That's when crap went sideways, apparently, or she died. I'm such an overthinker anyway. I would start thinking, maybe there was a reason why she's got all these
I would have lit
warnings.
the candle just for the heck of it.
I would have done it, and I'm the kind of person I would have been like, okay, if I'm being ridiculous, if I'm being completely silly and there's nothing to this, let everyone laugh at me. I will be the ridiculous person doing the stupid ritual that has nothing to do with anything. But for me, it would give me a sense of security. Like, okay, maybe there was something. I mean, she carved it into the wood. It wasn't just a little, note on a notepad. Oh, by the way, it's Friday. Go, take care of it. No, she actually, took the time to carve it into her dining room table.
Yeah, and given the nature of some of the expensive items in the house, she would not have carved it into the table
Just
for
fun,
no reason.
Right?
I'm going to deface my precious 900-year-old antique table for fun.
For fun, yeah. And even if she was losing it at the end of her life, there's a reason why she took great pains to say, look, remember this. That was clearly important to her. So again, yeah, sure, it could be absolutely nothing, and I could be wasting my time with this stupid candle ritual, and everyone's gonna laugh at me because I'm keeping this stupid thing alive, But
It's just
No, Dad, yeah.
She did
But
crazy
how would they
things.
know? No one ever showed up.
right,
Yeah.
but so it's like, I don't know. Maybe there's something to it, and maybe at the cost of my own peace of mind, I'm okay looking a little ridiculous to other people.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it creates my own peace of mind, and on the 0.001% chance that there's something to it, and I feel like that's important. And then especially, like you said, once things start going crazy, like, oh my gosh, what if these were actual warnings? And Marion mentioned something about her mirrors. That's what caused her to go off the road.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe there's something to that mirror thing.
She doesn't want to be the dumb girl in the horror movie, and yet she's not.
She's
heeding the
ignoring.
warnings.
She's a dumb girl in the horror movie because she doesn't know the rules.
That's true. I give her that. But at the same time, I'm like Maylene. Err on the side of caution here.
Right? Like, so that's just, again, that could just be the way I read it. Like, if I get a house and I see all these things scratched into, something's not right. I don't know what that is yet. Right. But, yeah, that says to me something's not right, because there's this crazy warning carved into her thing, and little things start piling up. So that's just me.
Brandon.
So, one of my big problems is you had mentioned earlier, I thought you had a different take than I did, but the squad, the group of girls that come around, and then all of a sudden evil gets a hold of, was it Marianne?
Yeah, Marianne.
Boom. I thought, oh, this is the pattern. The evil is going to one by one
Get the girl off, yeah.
cut her off. And then boom, chapter 33 happens and we're off to the races and you don't see any of the girls really, or that none of that really matters. So I thought, like, it felt like to me that the writers set something up and then realized I have to get to the meat. And so I wish she had taken her time. I wish she had built more with them. It felt like, don't get me wrong, like once chapter 33 happens and we're off to the races, I love it. But I was okay with the pacing beforehand too, and I was enjoying the quaintness of the horror story and the characters, and I felt like, oh, we're going to build up these characters that we love and then slowly turn them.
Right.
And
I actually know, now that you mention it, I was surprised when she showed up. I was expecting a little bit more. But it's been a while since I went through that part, so...
Marion at the very end, you mean?
No. When we first saw Eleanor, thinking it's Edith.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Although,
Yeah.
Then it becomes...
it did seem a little sooner than I expected, so it made it a surprise, and I like surprises, so
It felt like, to me, like the whole book was ruined because you already gave away who the monster was.
That didn't
it says the haunting of Ashburn House. You assume it's someone who lived there.
No, of course, but it seemed like it happened too quickly.
Yeah.
It was pretty sudden for me as far as
at that moment, and yet you're looking at you're in chapter 33 of 44 chapters. It had to happen sometime.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So when you look at the number of chapters, maybe it wasn't, but a little bit. It felt a little early.
Yes.
The way the way the pace had been, it needed a little bit more pick up before it happened.
My guess, in addition to that, is that the chapters are fairly short.
They are very short.
So
it is actually, because this book I think is only like 329 pages, but it's not a densely packed page.
No.
The font size is pretty big.
It's probably like a quick Harry Potter read, honestly.
Yeah.
I think like the longest chapter is about 10 pages, give or take.
Yeah, they're short chapters.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I
I'm
got the gist of the story through that.
I'm saying that's
It
probably
didn't really need
why
to be
part of the
longer.
reason why it felt quick. Because it was 33 chapters, but they were quick chapters. So
Right.
that's probably why part of the reason
I
why
get
it felt
that,
pretty
yeah.
quick.
So I could see that. Go ahead, Brandon. Sorry.
It didn't really need to be described any more than what it was, so it didn't need to be longer.
I'm just saying, like, I would have liked more with those characters, because it felt like
some more character depth.
Like with the squad, I keep saying squad, but
they're like the cheer squad. It's
the group of girls, I really felt like, oh, this is what we're going to do. We're going to turn each of them. Evil's going to turn each of them one by one.
So she has no help and no friends.
No help, and we're completely isolated. And we're completely cut off, and there's no power to the house. And then but that just didn't happen. And I felt like the writer set something up that didn't pay off.
You get a good amount of introductory character development with the girls, but like you say, at the end, it doesn't necessarily translate to anything with them as far as like. You don't really get a whole lot of dynamic character development with them. You get some introduction stuff at the beginning, but nothing at the end.
Yeah. So
I see what you mean. Yeah.
I was disappointed with that. And the other thing that really ticked me off was my favorite part of any horror story is, if it's a movie, it's usually the Act 2 break where the hero sits down and tries to discover the rules. Like in any, there's usually an autopsy of the vampire or whatever. Like we're figuring out what the rules are, what's going on, what's the detective side of that. And she does it because she goes to the town, she gets the backstory.
But she doesn't look through the house.
She doesn't look through the...
Oh!
Exactly.
She'd already established that it was probably Edith who did that. Does she go looking for them as soon as she gets back to the house? Okay, she got attacked on her way. But still, I'd have been looking for those stinking articles way sooner than she did. Sorry, that's on my list. I didn't mean to...
No, they're... like, information
You're going to find the answers there.
Information is power. You need to know what you're up against.
Take a
And-
breath, have a scone,
I'm sorry.
have some jam.
For a
Don't break a
character
cup.
who is usually pretty smart throughout the book, that was pretty stupid. You know,
Yeah, she
because
did.
she makes
Should have
some,
looked more
she,
inside. That was-
Mhm.
yeah.
So that again, for a writer, her research needed to be more researchy. I'm talking about the character, not the actual writer.
Right.
So yeah, those were my problems.
Yeah, my number one thing was the looking in the house, because I'm sorry, the first thing I'm doing when I get to a new house,
Explore.
Yes.
I
everything.
explore
Everything.
everything. And she would have found the letter.
Yeah.
If she'd found the
If she
the
and that would have
basements,
saved.
but yeah.
Yeah, and that would have saved her all.
And I'm
kinds of-
sorry, this may be the greedy side of me, but if I was a broke ass girl like her, I'd be searching everywhere for
Jewels,
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like a jar of pennies that's on the
Right,
refrigerator,
yeah.
or
Oh,
in a
yeah.
drawer where she left
Yeah.
a couple bucks, so I could get more food.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It doesn't even have to be that. Purely from a practicality standpoint, I'm checking to see if the toilet's flush. I'm checking
Yeah.
the sinks,
Yeah,
the faucets.
yeah, for sure.
You know, like,
And
And
is
she's
there a
never
vacuum?
owned a house
Not-
before, so I
not-
can understand this circuit
and-
breaker not being something she knows that
Yeah,
well.
But finding out
you
that
need
you
to know
don't
that
have
you have running
electricity in the
water.
second story,
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
the third day in?
Yeah.
just
She should have
finding
found that out
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
I'm like, that would have been the first thing I would have
That would have been the
But
first
granted, she
30
got there
minutes.
really late
Yeah.
that night, and I can understand how she just kind of, okay, it's not late, I gotta fire
Yeah,
it.
and
move
then
on.
she put it
Fine.
off till
But
the
the
next
next
morning.
day should
You
have
have
been.
all day.
I mean, the girls only take up a couple hours of her time,
Mm-hmm.
and she went and showed them the house. Why didn't she notice there wasn't lights? Which, you know what I mean? Like, there's just, I don't know.
And didn't she not even necessarily, unless I'm wrong, I think she didn't even go into Edith's room until like the end, right?
Mhm.
Well, she went in once.
She went
in
because
once.
That's where she first noticed the no mirrors sign in Edith's room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before she even saw it in the bathroom.
But then
by the
she
way.
was like, I don't. Then she's like, I don't like the feeling of being in here.
Yeah.
So she didn't
okay.
go back in there, dummy. She didn't go back in there till the end.
I could totally understand why, though.
I can understand why, but if you
Because this was her room. You
Okay.
felt kind of like you're invading
I
her
wrote it down.
space.
I wrote finally with an exclamation point. Chapter 37.
It's his
which
turn
was
still.
I know. I'm just. I'm like, look inside books and things. She's terrible at looking for clues. Like she didn't.
Look
She should
inside
have torn apart.
books.
Yes.
That's actually a real thing, actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
when
you look
my-
there's tons of books. She talks about books. Did she open a single one? Before? She didn't even open the Bible. She saw the Bible there. She didn't look through the Bible. Are you
Hold
kidding
it
me?
open, riffle the pages.
Yes,
$100 bills fall out.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Literally, my grandma passed away last March, and
Right.
she had like the old 50s in there that aren't even in circulation in the Bible, just as like money.
Yeah,
for
the ones that are
rainy
worth
day.
more
Exactly.
than the actual dollar
Yeah.
amount on the thing.
Yeah,
My
Yeah.
it's a
grandma,
real thing.
It's a real thing. Like
yeah.
seriously. I'm sorry, Justin. Go
No,
ahead.
it's all right. But yeah, like a term I was thinking of. She did not Nancy Drew her way out of that one.
No.
It's a good term.
But
Come on. Go do
another the thing, at least on the Audible version that we had.
Oh my gosh.
It was like half British, half American.
So apparently they fixed it
They
because I looked
used-
through my dad's copy
Instead
of
of
the
just saying
That's my
lounge
copy.
room
David's copy.
one time,
book. She used lounge room.
lounge
every
room
single time.
every
no
single
one
time
calls
they
it a
mention
lounge
the
room.
lounge.
I don't even
We
know what
barely
lounge
call it a
room is.
lounge.
It's the lounge.
It's the lounge.
You know, it's
The
the
sitting room,
the
but-
lounge.
You never played
I've
Clue?
never played Clue. It's called the lounge. I've never
You
heard it
know,
called the lounge room.
It comes across as
Every time she
American,
refers to it.
but then all of a sudden they throw in these little Britishisms.
I have every single one of them written down.
And-
Boot. They use boot instead of
I
trunk.
had-
Bonnet
oh,
instead
bonnet,
of
yeah.
hood.
Yeah.
They use torch instead of. She used the word
That's
flashlight
right.
twice.
Yeah,
Twice in chapter 27 in like the series of like 5 sentences. She uses flash. She's going torch the whole time. Flashlight once, torch again, then flashlight again, then torch the rest of the book.
It's probably
So
Just
annoying.
Bad, that's just bad editing.
And
That's probably what it is,
biscuits.
yeah.
Honestly, I didn't know if she meant actual biscuits or cookies because I don't know. Because she said biscuits, but everything else was British. And she said tinned meat,
oh, instead of
tinned
meat,
fish, yeah, tinned tuna. We call it canned. We
Yeah,
don't call
canned
it
or
tinned.
tinseled. You know.
What's
Yeah.
funny is
That's just bad editing.
It drove me
Bad
crazy.
localization.
But
There you go.
but that's what it was. Obviously, that must have been an early printing, and they fixed it for in here
in
because
second edition.
yeah. But the first edition and the Audible edition that has it, it's all those British words, and I was like, somebody needs to check this. I was so irritated. Knowing that they fixed it, I am less irritated now. But while I was listening to it, I was like,
What is this?
where is this? This is supposed to be America.
I mean,
she's an Australian author, so I understand she wouldn't know some of those things. But if you're gonna write in another country, you have to do your research. You need to know the slang.
So
I know the British slang. I watch BBC.
Yeah.
Come on now.
So less irritated, you say?
yes.
Oh my God.
I needed to get it out because I needed to voice it, and now I'm fine.
and
Anything
even
else?
I have
in
more.
my
Okay.
version,
Okay.
even in my version, they still missed a couple. Instead of miles, they said kilometers.
Did they? I didn't catch that
Yes.
part.
So
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Beginning part with
That was
the
really
caddy.
early with the
Yeah, with the
Oh.
cab guy at the very
Cab
beginning.
Oh my god!
I hadn't written things down yet. At that point.
It didn't really bother me because I always read who the author is first, and I go, she's Australian. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I just went, whatever.
Bonnet. Thankfully, I have watched enough things to actually know that she meant the hood of the car was bunched up. Because Bonnet, I could like you make you go, was it a convertible? Are they talking about the top? You know,
Well,
it
yeah.
means the hood. I know that, but you know.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to a couple of British YouTube channels, and so I know
Right.
some stuff from that.
So thankfully, I knew that stuff. But I'm like, but your average reader or Audible listener might not know those things, and they're going to be really confused
Yeah, I
if it's
didn't know what
supposed
a
to take
bonnet
place
was.
in America.
It
yeah.
wasn't even in there.
But right. So it had been changed by your version, which is good.
Yeah.
I'm glad they fixed it. But you know, my version wasn't fixed. So
But did you have anything else,
No,
Justin?
he just said he was done, so I get to go through my stuff. Okay, something that apparently was just an Audible thing that if I'd been reading it, I wouldn't have. But our first interaction with Eleanor, where she bites her and she says Edith, and she pauses and then
Oh,
says,
yeah.
okay, so apparently the word she said was Edith, weep for her. But the Audible's version says Edith, before her. It sounded like before her, not weep for her, because she's whispering as she's doing it.
Oh.
So then I'm like, before Edith? Well, who is before Edith? So my whole brain went way even more to
Before
figuring
Edith?
Yeah, so was it Edith? Was there an aunt she didn't know? Was there this or that? Because at first I was thinking, you know, we think Edith's nice.
I was thinking mother or something.
Right, and so it had me doing a whole bunch of extra rabbit trails, which weren't even necessary, but which ultimately made me think of, you know, twins and sisters and things earlier than maybe I should have,
Oh, yeah, that is kinda weird. Yeah.
because that's what it sounded like. And I'm like, before her, you should be doing research more on the family. Come on, it's you know, okay. So I misheard it because of the way she whispered it, and it was weep for her. So later she talks about that. She even told me to weep for her. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, is that what she said? Because when you're whispering and you're audible, you need to enunciate a little better.
Yeah.
A theater whisper.
Please, yeah. So that was that, and again, that's an audible. That's an audible problem, not a reading it problem. So just that, there's that. But I wrote down, why didn't she use the candles? She doesn't have enough light. There's 5 million candles in the attic.
my
God.
Why didn't she go get a crate of candles, bring them down, and put one in every corner of the rooms that she uses?
Exactly.
And then at one
Why
point, I think
didn't she use the candle? And I understood at the end why she didn't, because that would have ruined the whole candlelight hurts her, blah, blah, blah. She would never have attacked. But there should have been something else, like she should have used the candles. And then when she's hunkered down and she's used all her wood and all her kindling and everything to make smoke that didn't work, and now she's like, I don't even have enough light for the night. I won't be able to cook in the morning if I make it through the night. You are in a fully furnished house. Yes, it's expensive furniture, but if it's between you surviving and expensive furniture, I'm sorry. Let's bust the newest piece of furniture I can find.
Exactly.
The least antique looking thing, but I'm burning the crap out of that, so I have a fire.
All the bed linen goes up real
Right?
great.
Right? I'm like, there are things in this house to burn.
And in a house like that, all your coat hangers are wood.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like,
all the lace curtains.
oh my, right? I'm seriously, does she need this stuff? No, not if it's survival.
Edith's bed is,
Right?
is that whole
and
wood
it's not,
thing.
and there's all these old papers in the desk, some of which she needs and some of which she doesn't. You know, there's all sorts of things that she could burn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm gonna risk salmonella eating a rye egg in the morning. What? Burn the furniture? What the heck is wrong? There's rugs. The whole house is burnable.
There's that Stephen King story, 18 about the haunted hotel room. Was it
1408.
1408?
Yeah.
A friend of mine, because I watched, I was like, oh, a friend of mine's like, if I'm in there, I'm popping the hinges off that door and I'm walking right out.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like,
Right.
oh yeah, duh.
And not everybody thinks of those things. Okay,
You know?
I that. That reminds me of
And I usually
Ever
have
After.
a multi-tool so
I'll
I
go
can
down
do
in
it.
history for opening a door.
Man who opened a
It was man who
door.
opened a door. Yeah, yeah. So like there are ways around this. If you're gonna not be the dumb girl, don't be the dumb girl.
I
You don't have
literally
enough
have
light. Oh,
a
I have to
knife
rely
and a
the reason
flashlight
on this little
on me
no
at all
a mini
times.
torch. A mini torch. It's not even a flashlight. Oh wait, it's
The
You're right, that's a
only
torch,
reason
yeah.
why I give her a pass at first on the furniture thing,
Mhm. She's broke.
when you're
She needs to-
when you're panicked, sometimes
okay.
you don't always think clear. And that's me. I
Right.
don't always think the obvious solution when I'm freaked out.
Right.
You know?
Right, and I get that. She just realized that her smoke signals went down in smoke.
Yeah.
You know, but instead of up in smoke, they went down in smoke.
I thought they did a really
But
good
that-
job with the siege. Like it's a
Yeah,
siege.
it was a siege, but I'm like, seriously, there are things you can burn. You are not out of light. There are candles upstairs. There's all manner of things in this house you can burn to make a fire, to keep you A, lit, B, warm, and C, fed. You can still make tea. You can still
I
boil
think
eggs.
that the candle thing annoyed me more than the furniture thing, just because
Yeah.
it's like you said, she had all those candles.
Right.
I understand as a plot device, you can't have her burning them all just yet, but I would be like, okay, let's light these candles. You know,
These candles that we have on our table, I have emergency candles. Do we have flashlights? Yes. We have flashlights in every room of the house.
Mhm.
In certain drawers, the everything drawer. We each have one on our bedside table. Like there's, flashlights to be found all over our house and spare batteries. But we also have candles,
And
emergency
lanterns.
candles, and lanterns.
I got everywhere, candles everywhere. Little teacup
Yeah,
candles.
I'm like, we
You
have.
get a big package of them for
Right?
like $3.
Yeah, we keep emergency candles on
And they
hand.
last for a couple hours.
So
Yeah.
even if she wasn't burning the special candles upstairs, there should have been candles elsewhere in the house that were just plain old taper candles.
yeah.
And she could've-
Especially since she knew she didn't have power up
exactly, and she could have, those candles could have been a special type of candle, and other candlelight might not. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
or something. But I just felt really like frustrated that without the light, with all that, she had matches, she couldn't make fire. There are candles, there's things to burn. That. Yeah. Use your dang brain. I was so irritated. Oh, when the cat went in the basement, I was like,
Really?
really?
Cliche.
Nice knowing you, cat. Bye, Wolfgang. It's been great. Too bad you're my favorite character. But of course she's gonna go after the cat, and I probably would have too, but not like the way she did. I would have been opening the last can of tuna and putting it by the door, because my cats come running if I open any kind of can,
Because it could be tuna.
because it could be tuna, it could be cat food. It could be canned chicken, because I give them the broth from that too usually, unless I'm making soup. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm like, it's canned green beans. You don't like green beans. Dummy, you don't like, because I've been opening any can I could, because the cat's gonna come running.
Especially
It's not
if
gonna
you,
stay in the
clink
basement.
2 cans together.
Oh, it's not gonna stay in the basement. It's gonna come get its nummy treats. So,
thought
I
that
guess
part
she
was a
called
cliche.
food, but I'm like, yeah, but if you opened a can, it doesn't matter if you say food. If you open that can, it's magic. The cat will come.
So that part was kind of a cliche.
Yeah, it was
right
like, it was
there.
totally expected. It was totally, oh well, that's okay. Anyway, those are the things that bothered me. I've gone through my list. I can get rid of my list now.
Do you
Don't
feel better
burn it.
now?
I do feel better now. I wanted
Yeah.
to express
Don't
myself
burn
on
it.
some of those things. Don't
Yeah.
burn it, yeah. Oh, we need to save it for kindling. Yeah, all right. Papa, do you have anything I didn't go off on?
Anything in the world that still exists that Bonnie didn't talk
That
about.
Bonnie didn't cover. Yes,
David does. He has a longer list than
She
me.
didn't even cover half my list.
that's fine. I won't take long.
Okay.
I like the book. Next.
I am not a big fan of horror books,
Neither am I.
so
Buckle
I
up.
relegated myself to reading this during daylight hours and not too close to the sun going down.
Same here.
Okay? Somewhere at the end of chapter 33, beginning of chapter 34, when things started getting intense,
Mm-hmm.
That's when magic happens.
I'm like, with the setup they've done, I have no idea if she survives the end of the book or if she doesn't survive the end of the book. Either ending works, but each of those endings takes different mental fortitude to deal with in the process. And I was getting very, very anxious. I skipped to the end and read the last 3 chapters so I could brace myself for what was going to happen.
And that right there will make the author laugh. And that's probably what she wanted in the first place.
I
because
never
she
do that in
got
books.
You.
Like, I like to be surprised. But,
Because she got
and he
you.
doesn't do that in books either. I was shocked when you told me, which is why I said something earlier, that I didn't give you away.
No, you did a good job of keeping it secret. That was
You did a good job of keeping it secret, but
I knew somebody in this group did. I just didn't know who.
And I didn't say. Nor did I look at anyone
nor did you
particular.
probably expect it to be me, but it was me.
Admittedly, I was gonna peg Lewis as the winner. I'm sorry. I doubted you, Lewis. I'm so sorry.
Lewis and I don't text very often, except when he's like, "What do I need to bring to book club?"
So that's why I thought, did he text her to tell her?
I would have pegged Justin because he already cried about it.
No,
He did. Oh, I can't read it anymore because of the lights flickering. And I go, oh, maybe it was Justin.
He was my second guess.
Man, this is an et tu Brute moment.
This is
Wait,
someone ever went under
it
the
was
bus
you.
moment.
What can I say?
My
David?
last
You have to go,
guess.
so?
aside from me, because you knew I'd say it wasn't me.
I still would have guessed you before I would have guessed.
That was it for you, Wayne?
That was the one thing. He got so anxious he had to find out.
Oh, wow, okay.
That was the main thing. Yeah.
Was that a
I got.
was that a negative,
Well, everybody else has covered
though? Everything else?
everything else. That was the one unique thing for me that nobody else had on their list. I was frustrated that she didn't use attic candles to help light the house.
Oh, yeah.
And
There was thousands of them.
bust up a chair or something.
Or
to
a
burn in
wood
the
crate
fireplace.
containing
I was just about to
candles.
say,
Yeah.
What great.
there were empty crates up there from candles. She could have used crepe wood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at that time, she was still under the assumption that Edith could not go in the house, and therefore the house is safe. You know,
Right, so
Until
So
she left
go-
all the windows
go
open.
Up, yeah, go up to the attic, get a candle and wood. You're
Yeah.
fine.
all right, David.
Let's hear it.
All right. First off, I thought this whole book was a cliche.
The whole book.
Practically the whole book. I mean, give me a break. Desperate girl inherits house and goes out there and just has continuous problems. It's like cliche. Or how about, I'm going to go and check the breaker. Did I leave the door open? I mean, just crap like that. And
That I can't agree with, especially because she's a cat owner.
Yeah.
You don't leave the door open.
And then, all right, let's go down my list. To me, there was a lot of cliches in there. Also, if she's kind of scared about something, why in the hell would you be visiting a creepy grave when it's getting dark outside? I'd be like, fuck that. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Edit. Beep. I'd be like, screw that crap. I'll do that tomorrow morning when there's light.
Mm-hmm.
But that was before I knew that
She could survive in the
she
daytime.
could survive in the daytime, of course. But I mean, that's just first thing. And also, when I got there, I mean, I just thought it was like I agree with Justin. I would have searched the house for valuables. I mean, if I knew I was broke, I would be going in there and like everyone is going to have some kind of pocket change or something where she could at least take it. I mean, I don't expect them to have a coin star, but at least be able to. Because if I knew I was going broke, I'd be hoarding little money or handing in cans or something just so I could feed my cat.
Well, even small towns have pawn shops.
Oh, yeah.
There's something valuable in the house.
Exactly. Hey,
I mean, even if you're the kind of person who feels guilty about finding, it's like at the same time, it's like, well, it's in my house now. It's,
yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but I got to make money to feed my cat myself.
How often am I going to use this elaborate silver candlestick?
Right.
Let me
That's
see.
not going to be something I'm going to use.
And also, she
I'm trying to be covert, guys.
goes through the. If she was worried about like traveling through the forest, I would have carried some kind of stick, or and if she couldn't find a stick, she could easily have gotten a broom handle.
I was going to say the same thing.
Instead, she carried that big butcher knife. I mean, hello, that's going to make you look like the crazy lady up on the hill. Now, but if they knew you were hiking through the forest, yeah, they'd expect you to have some kind of walking stick or something.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Also, I don't know if any of you noticed, but where was she lighting the candles at?
Isn't the
In
attic?
the attic.
But why does the cover show it on the second floor?
Because the artist didn't pay attention to the book.
It's called artistic license.
I guess so.
Pay attention.
But the candle's on the second floor when it's supposed to be in the attic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
night before she found out that Edith could last in the daytime, she should have gone up there and lit the candle in the attic.
Yeah.
The town would have seen it at night, and someone would have come to investigate.
Exactly. Even if it was just, oh, you're lighting the candle again?
Like
Yeah.
Beth would be like, oh, something's
Yeah,
up.
Beth would-
Oh yeah, Beth would have been all over that shit.
So they're like, hey, Friday, what's going on?
But also, here's another one that I thought, and it kind of upset me a little bit. And I go, okay, they explained it a tad, but how come when Adrienne gets to the house, how did Edith survive all this time in the house without any income?
Well, she must have had income. That's the thing.
But,
She had to have
okay.
income.
A social
Okay.
security or
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rich old family, but yeah, there
but
would have
still, I have never known of any property going through some type of probate where you either have a positive income or a negative income. It was exactly zero. That's
They never
impossible.
mentioned that. Yeah.
That's
never mentioned that.
impossible.
You
There's
inherited this
always
house.
some
They
kind of
should have.
thing.
Yeah. Either she
Oh,
should have.
you're saying the house should have come with an inheritance too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
with
Or
money.
you get the house, but you
And so
got to
you
pay
get
us
debt.
this
Yeah,
because you both get the debt.
because Edith was
I
in
didn't even catch
arrears.
Oh, I
that.
totally did
Because
too. Yeah.
Edith's in arrears, or she still has $87 in her bank account. There was exactly zero, and that bugged the shit out of
That
me. It's
never
like
even
there-
occurred to me.
It's like, how did she live in the house for 80 years
Yeah.
without an income?
Right.
And with all that stuff that was worth things, she had to have had something, or she would
Exactly.
have sold all that stuff off. There wouldn't have been fancy china
And
anymore.
how
There
is
wouldn't
it
have been
that
silver
a
anymore.
rich family like that, who were upper class, that
And
most
her
likely
grandparents
went
were
out,
rich too.
who went out fox shooting or quail shooting or geese hunting, did not have one firearm in that house at all?
That's what she sold for money.
So,
You know what? That brings up another question. Actually, let's assume that Edith won the day and got to live again. What is she going to do to make money to pay for the electric bill now?
exactly.
Everyone knows she's dead. Is she going to take over?
But here's
literally
one
take
thing.
over her body.
It just, I mean, also the missing articles from the newspaper, they said it was donated by so and so. I don't remember, some
They
old
didn't
guy.
say name. They just said a hoarder.
Yeah, some hoarder. I would have said, well, who was that hoarder? Everyone in town knew everybody because he
you
was a
figure out
strong
who the
town.
hoarder is, and
Yeah.
you go talk to him.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
I mean, they
who-
were
who-
dead, but
who
you go
knows
talk to the
this
family.
hoarder?
Was there more copies?
Yeah.
Was there
Yeah,
this?
who,
Was there
yeah.
that? There wasn't
Nothing.
enough investigation. And when Sarah comes, I think you're right. I think it was Sarah at the library. When she comes later and says, "I found out who it was," it had to have been Edith, or it was most likely Edith. Then go look in the house for those articles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Go
here's
look in the room you
something.
didn't open all the way.
Yeah.
Here's something that I didn't find out, but I was talking to Wayne with it today. If it's Eleanor,
Eleanor's the ghost.
Yeah.
Or the evil one.
if she was killed as a child, why is she portrayed as an old sagging booby lady at the in
Right?
the book?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
She was killed as a child.
But then she came back and she killed her
broke Lewis.
again.
Old sagging
she,
booby lady.
but she would still be she'd be still a little kid.
That's
Yeah,
true. The bones shouldn't have
They
grown. It
shouldn't
should have been
grown.
a
She
creepy
should have been
kid.
a creepy
Yeah.
kid.
No,
And that
you're
would have
right.
been even scarier.
Oh my gosh, that would
That's
have
not scarier.
yeah.
Because
Booby lady.
Edith
Yeah.
is it? I keep on mixing
Eleanor.
the two.
Edith is the good one.
Yeah,
Eleanor's the bad
Edith grew up and lived in the house
Mm-hmm.
and everything. Eleanor should have been a dead baby girl, it would age 10 or whatever,
Yeah.
or
one.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And okay, let's say she did come back, and how much is she going to age? She's not going to be aging into some old saggy boob lady.
Right? Yeah, that's true too. And that also makes it like she shouldn't have been a twin. She should have been an older sister.
Mm-hmm.
Because then she could have at least been like a teenager, which would have been the right height.
Yeah.
And if it's decaying, then that would be okay. But yeah, no, I can see that. No, as far as the corpse part of it,
Yeah,
you're
it
right.
just seemed kind of
It's wrong.
weird to
Yeah.
me. It's like, nah, she should have been a little girl.
I didn't think
The
about
only
that
thing
personally, but yeah.
Yes, and this is just obviously a guess since we don't have the answer, is maybe that's part of the stolen lives from other people.
That's
like
what
the-
Wayne and I were
that
discussing.
somehow managed to age her.
It
somehow.
aged her, yeah.
Again, that's just.
And
a
that
guess.
would, yeah, but those things weren't explained, and so they
Yeah.
raised
And that
questions.
could be part of the thing where we don't know all the rules.
Which
about
isn't
the
fair.
creature.
The
Right,
reader
where
should
she
know
was-
all the rules.
Yes, she was
Yeah.
dead and buried, but she was still growing.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
The main character doesn't need to know the rules, but the reader needs to know the rules.
Yeah, the audience must know the rules.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but
So they know to yell at the
understand-
screen when the main character who doesn't know is doing something stupid.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there that the author did it that way because if it was a little girl, then you would know
No,
that
it
it
wasn't
wasn't
Edith,
that it
yeah.
wasn't Edith.
It's a misdirect.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But it was, now you think about it, it makes it hard to thinking through it.
Yeah, but I just
And-
thought it was kind of weird.
Possibly, because doesn't she say in the letter that it took years for Eleanor to come back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah, to read
maybe
time.
she's growing during
During
that
that
time.
time, yeah.
Especially during, since she was cremated or burned or something at
Yeah.
one point.
Yeah,
Maybe the bones reformed, so maybe they aged as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
but,
I don't know.
But it wasn't fully dealt with, so
I
yeah.
know. I mean, and
It's her first book. I'll give her a little grace as far
yeah,
as that
that's
goes,
why I said,
guess.
hey, it was pretty good for a first book.
If it was
Yeah.
a 20th book, you'd be like, okay, come on.
Yeah,
Like,
you
you're
should know
experienced
better by
author.
then.
Yeah.
I think that goes off of my ultimate main problem with this, which is that we just truly don't know what Eleanor really was
Right.
in terms of like the big
Okay,
bad
she is a
whatever.
reincarnated evil, powerful soul, but
Yeah.
But see, that's
you know,
that's so
that's
vague.
so not enough. Yeah, it is. It's too vague. Exactly. There's not enough information.
Like we don't know.
And we
she's
know
not a
that Edith
vampire.
did a lot of research, so there should have been more information. There
Yeah.
should have been some books on the occult somewhere in the house
Yeah.
that we could look through with
Yeah.
highlighted passages or sticky notes pasted in or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
to let you know, you know, or
Yeah.
printed out articles from, okay, she didn't have a computer, but she could have gone to the library and printed things
Yeah.
up, you know, things from online and things
Yeah.
like, you know, there should have, if she did all that research and figured things out, then she should have had more information for Adrian to find.
And
Bless you.
also another big thing that I thought was kind of like really was the fact that with the house being as nice it was, how did that letter fall through the floorboard and go into the cellar?
Well, she'd mentioned that the floorboards there was a gap in the floorboards.
Oh, I thought that was garbage
On-
with the house being so nice and with the house being restored completely and with how much money she was dumping into that place, there isn't going to be a
She
gap
restored
at
it when she was
all.
18. That was like
she was-
70 years ago.
But still, an old house like that that's standing around for 300 years and there's no
Yeah.
gaps. Especially
Yeah.
since she's coming from a rich family.
I have seen old, houses that were 150, almost 200 years old, where you have 2 layers of flooring.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You have
it's almost never just one
One
layer.
layer.
Of wood.
No, you have 2 layers.
The
Yeah.
subflooring
Mm-hmm.
usually has gaps, and nowadays it's a common thing to remove the top flooring, and if the subflooring is in good condition, they just use that for the thing because it's still hardwood.
Yeah.
And
Right.
in some cases,
So that could have been it.
in some
but yeah.
cases, especially in areas where you have a lot of humidity and moisture, the wood expands and shrinks
Oh yeah.
during the seasons. And if it's a warm season or like a drier season, you can get as much as a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch gap between some of those
Here's the thing, though.
boards.
You're no prizing it. You're adding your context and
Oh,
your
yeah, I know.
knowledge
Right.
Yeah.
that was not provided.
That was
in the
not
book.
provided in the
It
book.
was provided that
yes,
there was
I-
gaps in the floor. It
Yeah.
was mentioned.
Yes, I agree with that, but I thought that I didn't really like that because I'm sorry, a picky old lady like that who just had the upstairs bathroom and bedroom
yeah,
redone would have
and-
fixed those floors
It
downstairs.
would have been cold
exactly.
and drafty. She would have at least had carpets down over.
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking. It's mentioned that the letter was found over or under what would have been like the front entryway of the house.
Yeah.
That front entryway would never have
Well, it
been
was
just
under the
one
lounge room.
single layer of.
It was under the lounge room.
under the lounge.
Yeah.
Was it just the lounge?
The
room?
lounge
Lounge
room,
room.
yes, which irritates
Okay,
me
so
still.
even
but
the lounge room
yeah.
wouldn't have just been one layer of wood.
No,
No, it wouldn't have been.
It would have
Not at
been
all.
two.
Which means if the
Yeah.
letter falls through the top, it would have gotten just stuck in the
Subfloor between the
Which
the
is
base
only a
boards.
couple of inches,
Yeah.
and the letter
Well,
just be
it's-
sticking
well,
out.
Well, it's actually have a subfloor and then the other floor is
Yeah.
literally right on top of it.
Yeah, she would have never
And
found
nailed
the
to it.
letter.
It would have been
it would
sticking up.
have been sticking out.
It would have been sticking
Yeah.
out when she
Yeah.
came in the room.
So she would have found it.
yeah.
I understand that she wanted to create the suspense and everything,
Yeah.
but I just wished there that she would have done something else.
Could have been like behind a desk or something like
Yeah,
that.
like
that would have made more
like
sense.
a gust of
like,
wind, like
blew it- yeah.
blew it under the
Couch
curtain,
or the- yeah,
where
something.
she didn't see it until she was trying to hide. Well, what's his letter? Kind
Yeah,
of thing.
exactly.
Instead of falling
in the
there.
basement, which happened to be open
Yeah, and I'm going
this whole time.
exactly, and also.
That bothered me.
The very first day, I would have explored everything in there. And how did she not know there wasn't a basement?
I mean, it was a tiny little door, but
Yeah,
still,
but still.
she obviously didn't explore.
And how is it that all these years, and Wayne and I explored this too, how is it that Edith, out of 80 years, did not have a car?
She only had
just
to walk
walked.
10 minutes to town.
I would have rather have a car instead of carrying all that shit in my hands. I put it in the boot.
She would have had to have a car with no mirrors, though.
Who cares? She's going forward, not backward.
Yeah, the mirrors in the car were the problem, I believe.
Yes, but that would only be happening if Eleanor is getting stronger. It doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why she kept people away. But if she's being vigilant enough, it shouldn't have been a problem. And she had her system down. So even though
Exactly.
she was getting, problems with her memory, she had her system. Is it Friday? You go check the paper.
I
Is
did
it-
like
I
that they
like
explained why
why.
she got a paper every day.
Yeah.
And why it
So
was
that she
scraped.
knew what day it was.
Yeah.
Yes. And
But
then
how
just-
is it that an old lady, what the hell was she doing in her house for 80 years? I would have at least gotten cable TV and watched Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune or something.
Right.
She was happy
Or
with her
watching
books.
soap opera. What? How can you read the same book over for 80 years?
She had hundreds of books.
She had
She went to the
hundreds of
library.
shelves
Library.
in the
Whatever,
library.
man. No, we're watching TV. We're watching soap operas. We're watching probably with an old lady. She's probably watching those Time Life books where she's looking for love and it happens to be in the house the whole time. Garbage. But there was no I mean, I just thought
She did have electricity. She could have had.
yeah. How come she didn't have electricity throughout the whole house?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a bad wiring job.
Yeah.
I just went really.
Well, once again, some of those old houses were retrofitted with electricity on the lower floors where company came, and it was only used down there. And when you would go upstairs,
This is apparently a common thing, David.
She's
In some places.
rich.
I know, and so were some of those people. But
And I'm sorry, but like I said,
I agree with
if
you.
there,
I
if
would
there
have
was
put
a
electricity
monster in
in.
the house, there should have been a firearm and bam, 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 and I would
There
have
should have
felt a
been
lot
cameras
better.
everywhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Candles.
Lewis, did
I
you
was
have
gonna say,
something?
Doctor Strange, The Oath. There's a great moment where this portal opens and this demon comes crawling out, and Doctor Strange is standing there, and he just pulls out a revolver and shoots the demon in the head and goes, "Welcome to New York."
Exactly.
It's like,
Indiana Jones moment.
yes.
Yeah.
You know that
That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
So
But
Lewis,
I'll leave something for
yes.
Okay, so I felt that when Adrian found the note left by Edith, to me it was like there was a ton of plot dump right away in like the span of 1 page or 2 pages, and it was just a lot to take in right at that moment in time. I would have wanted there to be quite a bit more small hints throughout the book, just peppered in of like, here's a little bit of lore about the house, here's a little bit of lore about the family, la la la, and we get some of that, but I wanted more and no letter.
Yeah.
The last chapter is just a plot dump. It even says answers.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would have wanted more, because it would have provided a lot more characterization to the house.
Because technically she didn't figure anything out.
No.
Everything was told to her in that letter in the end. She didn't figure shit out.
Yeah, I don't know. Or like during the time period where she's fighting Eleanor, it would have been really good for Adrian to figure out on her own. Oh, candles and fire. Excellent. Now I can beat this thing. I don't know.
It would have been funny, like, reading the letter. Oh, now you tell me.
Yeah, she should have found the letter after.
Yeah.
She should have found the letter after.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanted more answers here and there and less old lady boobs.
Saggy boob lady.
Saggy boob lady.
The hero should have figured it out on her own and then got the information.
Because the letter itself is perfect for the denouement. It's not. It's not perfect for during the fight.
Yeah, the timing was bad, really bad. That door shouldn't have been open then. She should have just gone into the thing, realized, she should have been able to look and go, okay, the door's closed, there's no, she should have been able to find out that it was locked, that there was no way for her to get in that way. Then the cat goes in, so she has to go in more, and then finds the letter, and then gets a chance to go into the lounge and read it.
The lounge what?
The lounge itself.
The cat is also a small problem that I had with the book. Not the cat being cool, the cat's awesome, I love Wolfgang, but Adrian just lets the cat wander around wherever the fuck it wants to, even when they are being attacked by the zombie witch.
Well, she mostly kept him in one room or another. She at one point accidentally left the lounge door open, and he gets into one of the other rooms. So then she shuts him in that room for a bit. But still, and she brings him up to her bedroom for a while, so it's just the two of them and has the door closed. So I get that, but yeah, no, I agree. But the cat has to be able, cats are great against the undead. We've established that in so many other movies and books and things that, yes, right? Yeah.
One thing I just thought of, they don't once mention a cat box in that story.
Oh,
do they?
She did. She set up the litter box in the lounge.
In the lounge.
I was a little bit disappointed that she didn't change it.
In the lounge with
the litter box.
Yeah. Oh man.
That was a good one though. She did.
In the attic.
She even had the litter box.
But my biggest issue is probably just that we don't know what Eleanor actually is. I think
she's a revenant.
Yeah, but again, we're no prizing it, bringing in our own
knowledge. We weren't given that in the book, and there should have been something.
What we are told in the book, and correct me if I'm missing something, what we are told is she killed her whole family as a child, and so she's a murderer, but also she's a sociopath.
And
but
has
also
magic powers.
Maybe she has magic powers, but also she has supernatural affinity, which is different than magic. Oh, but also she can come back from the dead and reform her body. What is she?
Right.
I have no idea if she's a witch
because
or
they kind of
a ghost.
explained it to her that
she's cannibalistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how she gained her extra life, was by eating the hearts.
She
was chewing on Adrian's ankle.
Whatever she is picking and choosing from a lot of different supernatural mythos.
What kind of supernatural bad guy has a weakness? It's only a weakness if they believe it is.
Yeah.
That's all they have to do is just stop believing it's a weakness, and then they're be invincible.
But then also the fact that I assume she can just leap tall buildings in a single bound because she goes from the ground to the roof, or is she so strong that she can climb the side of the Like,
I think
what
she
is
climbed because she did climb around.
How come
Yeah.
she
Well,
just
she
didn't
was
break through the
climbing
front
from
door?
the rafters in the
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
upside down
Like
in
a
the
spider.
basement like a spider.
Yeah, so how come she just didn't break through the windows and give me my house, you dumb little girl?
Right, so that's the thing. There must have been some power or something that she
Some
couldn't break
barrier
in.
she couldn't break
She could
in.
only go in if it was open.
I guess.
But that's not. That wasn't said. It was just implied.
I thought it was said.
It was not said.
It was also implied that
Because there's a moment where she's listening next to the door, and then the knife comes through the. Right?
No.
no,
No.
that's when
No,
What's
you're,
when
you're
the girl
thinking of
comes
when
back?
when the knife flies by Adrian's face.
Yes.
That was
On the
Marion.
sheet.
That's
Oh, that was
Yeah, that
Marion.
was Marion.
Yeah.
yeah.
Who was taken over by her. Marion could break in.
Marion
Why didn't
busted
she
the
have
glass.
Marion break in sooner?
Yeah.
And then also,
Or
what,
did it take time for her to control Marion in the mirror so her mom pasted up?
Yeah, or if she's got Marion under control, that's lunch. That's another body.
but how
Yeah.
did she
No,
do
but
that?
it was
'Cause
supposed to be part of her family.
But it shouldn't have had to be part of her family. It didn't say it had to be
It
part of her
didn't have to,
family. It said she killed her family and she got power by anybody she killed with her own hands. So why isn't she killing other people? She's only going after family members first? Why?
I think it was implied that.
But it was implied, it wasn't actually said. Was not actually
no,
said.
because I remember
I listened to the
Edith,
last 10 chapters twice because I listened to
Edith
them on
and
my own.
Eleanor. I
listening
keep
with
on
Justin.
confusing them. They should have had.
Edith is the good one and
Yeah.
Eleanor's the bad one.
They
But
should
that's the
have-
thing. What was over the last name was
Yeah.
gone, or forgotten but not gone.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But there was a part in there where she thought she was a sorceress from the Egyptian Empire.
Or she could have been.
Yeah. So she was
Could have been a
probably-
Salem witch. She could have been
Yeah.
because she was like a reincarnated spirit of
Yeah, yeah.
powerful spirit.
But then how the hell
But-
does that work? Because my understanding was that Eleanor herself was already like supernaturally affinitive to things, but also a magic time traveling witch took over her body. It's just weird to me.
No, it said she was born reincarnated of a soul that had been reincarnated
Yeah.
before that had magic.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
You have to read the
kinda
letter
odd.
part again. There's a lot of information and it's not clear
It
enough.
was a messy plot soup.
It was
is what it
messy.
was.
Yes.
It was messy. It was.
I mean, I enjoyed that she tried. Yeah, that's good. That she tried, and I think this was a fairly good first book, but
Mhm.
I think she needed a proofreader, so there would be a second opinion on like, hey, this doesn't kind of fit. Do you want
Mhm.
like?
Mhm. Yeah, I see that.
This might confuse a reader. I mean, what are you really meaning here? So
Mm-hmm.
that way she could get other ideas to make her idea clear.
Yeah. Oh, I see that. All right.
Uh,
Final thought?
Final thoughts, Eileen?
I'll say overall I liked it. I thought it, I mean, like we said earlier, it was a very good first attempt at a book.
Mhm.
And yeah, there were some definite problems as we all talked about, but
We've read worse first books.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've read worse, not even first books.
Yeah.
and you know, it's one of those books where even though I wouldn't necessarily give it a 10 out of 10,
No.
I still enjoyed it.
Oh, I enjoyed it. It was
Not-
worth, yeah.
I mean,
I loved the ending.
there were points.
Oh yeah.
Ending
I
with
liked
it
it.
still being a haunted house.
Oh,
I
that
loved
was-
that with
that
a
was
great,
very nice.
wonderful
That was
ghost.
charming. I
Yeah.
liked
It was adorable.
I did like that they didn't like exercise the
Absolutely
ghost
loved
act,
that.
you know.
Yeah.
But you know,
But
I
Edith's
felt
gonna
like-
stick around and help her
Yeah.
till she dies, like as long as she lives in the house. So she's planning to
Yeah.
live till she's 80 or whatever. Like I think that's great.
Yeah. I thought overall it was a good book by this author, and who knows? Maybe her other books she improved. As far as not making things so muddled. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't read any of her books, so other than this one. So
I know we took a lot of time bashing the lore and the creature and all, but I liked the fact that I when the zombie, because I thought, oh, zombie, and then it starts using magic and starts like, I liked the fact that it was something new for me, like as a reader. It's like because I've read werewolf stories, vampire stories, where like this does the thing does not.
I've even read sparkly vampire stories.
I liked that I didn't know what this was, but I needed.
But you needed to know by the end.
I needed to know by the end.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem is we didn't get to find out by the end.
Even if it was something new that she created,
A new
that
basic
made
thing.
things together.
Then we need to know.
Blade 2 has a sequence where the vampires are evolving or mutating. They have an autopsy scene where they're exploring what the new vampire mutant is. And it's like we needed that scene where the hero puts everything together and now knows.
Finds the ancient manuscript.
This is a combination of a sorcerer and a zombie and a witch and whatever.
Yeah, because the simple fact that Marion could have been taken over, like, to me, that falls into at least 2 different kinds of big evil houses, you know?
Evil houses, vampires. There's lots
can
of things.
do that. Witches can do that.
Right. I'm pretty sure a lich
certain
can.
kinds of zombies, I think, can do that. Like, it's just it made it not clear.
Right. We needed clarity.
Yeah.
For that, I get that.
Yeah, that's why I said they needed a proofreader.
Shoot, even come up with a new
name.
thing.
Yeah,
a new name.
Sure.
Like, it's a whatever monster, you know? It's like, okay, I'll buy that.
It's the baklava.
Oh, tasty monster, you.
Justin?
I enjoyed it. And I would probably give this author another try if there's another one out there, just to see if she improves at all.
I think there are a couple other ones. I just, like I said, I've never.
I got the impression there were like 3 or 4, or that may be total.
Yeah, but she definitely needs her alien autopsy portion in there to figure things out. Hopefully, in the future, she does that.
But she was burned to ashes.
Yeah.
Okay, a microscopic analysis.
So let her regenerate enough to cut her open.
Or a spiritual somebody, shaman, medium, somebody comes and you know.
You can settle for a large.
I understand she was only there for a limited time. She was only there for a week.
Yeah.
You know, take her ashes, grind them up real good, make them into a pencil, and sell them to somebody or something. I don't know.
A demon pencil. Okay. I'd probably give it a 7.5. I liked it. I loved the ending.
Out of 20? Wow.
Out of 10.
You want to start a fight?
There were things obviously that irritated me that apparently were fixed in the second book, so I can let some of that stuff go. And I really liked the ending. So even though there were things that weren't right, I might even give it an 8 because I liked the ending so much.
She stuck the ending.
Yes.
Little wobbly, but stuck it.
Stuck the landing.
The ending was the perfect amount of cheese. I loved it.
It was so adorable. It was great. So you know, and I could see, not that she ever has to write anything else, but you could see where it could go from there. You know, I like stories where it's not all told to you, but it's left open for your imagination to go, oh, and this probably happened later, and then this, oh, that'd be great, you know, kind of a thing. So I liked that, but yeah.
Wayne?
I liked it. It's worth reading. I'd rate it at least a 6 out of 10, maybe a 7. I did enjoy the ending. And
I like there were surprises.
The fact that we didn't know what the big bad was didn't really bother me. You know, because we're so used to fitting things into niches, and this didn't fit into a niche. This was something different, something new. We don't have all the answers, but it did get defeated, and that's the
and we
main
know how
thing.
to keep it dead.
You know how to keep it
Just
dead.
light the candle.
It didn't bother you because you read ahead.
No, I just read ahead to see if she lived.
The name of the new character, the naked evil titty.
Maybe with you.
Or a neat woman. Neat.
The moonlight monster.
That comes out in the daytime.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Well, moonlight is just sunlight reflected off the moon, so
Whatever.
The only light that bothers it is candlelight. Our candles are burning down.
Yeah, but you
Oh,
don't
no.
you don't see
Instead of the,
werewolves transforming in the daylight.
No, that's true. Well, it depends on.
I guess they could have done.
It
a
depends on
series
if
like
they're
that.
Well, it's
born
not the-
aware.
If they have sparkly
Yeah.
vampires, they have daylight werewolves.
No, it depends on whether they were born a shifter or whether they were bitten. If you're talking about a bitten werewolf, yeah, it's only at the full moon. If you're talking about a shifter, like regular shifters, there's plenty of of mythology where they can shift anytime they need to because they were born a shifter. They're just forced to shift at the full moon.
I don't
That's
care.
true.
Sorry.
It's not the light, it's the gravitational pull on the ocean. And
It's the
Yeah.
tides.
Mhm.
Werewolves
Yeah.
and tides. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting off subject.
No, not completely. No, I think we're okay.
Back to saggy boobs. Okay.
Why? David, final thoughts.
I
Stick on
enjoyed the
focus.
book, and I'll even admit that I didn't read it at night. So if that's what the author was trying to accomplish, mission accomplished.
Yeah, read in the daytime.
That's a big thing for Dave to admit.
Oh yeah. I'd probably give it like a 7 because I'm a nitpicker. She needs, hopefully, if she did any other scary books or any other books, she has them proofread, so there won't be as many gripes.
So funny story. Sorry, talking about reading it only in the day. I was reading this before bed, which is probably a bad idea.
Oh my god.
But I was sitting there and I was alone because it was before he got home from work, and I forgot I had turned the ringer on my phone, up, and one of my friends, her text notice is Leslie Jordan saying, "Well, shit, how y'all doing?" So I'm sitting there reading, and in the book there was something along the lines of like, oh, "Well, shit or shit," something like that. And right as I read that, "Well, shit! Oh my god!" I was like, okay.
That's great.
I literally almost dropped my book. I was like, okay.
That's why it took me so long to start the book because I kept only thinking about it right before bed. I'm like, I'm not reading a haunting book before bed. I know better. I have vivid nightmares.
I told my friend, I go, perfect timing.
So yeah, that's about the only final thought I have. Go ahead, Lewis.
I'd probably give this book about a 7 out of 10 as well. Like, the things that bothered me at times really bothered me, but for a first book, it's a very good first book. For an overall consideration of Darcy Coates as an author, there's a ton of really good stuff in here.
Yeah.
You know.
And I feel like anytime it's a book that I recommend, I always consider it a success if people say 7 or above on the book.
Right. Yeah.
Not that I understand that some books you're not going to like that much. I get it.
Right.
But I consider it a quote unquote success if I can get mostly 7s or above. You know.
Yeah.
Well, 7 would be like a C.
Yeah. So.
The C's get degrees.
Right.
C's get degrees, exactly.
Yeah, if I came across another book by Darcy Coates, I'd be curious about it. You know.
Yeah.
She wasn't the worst author.
Nope. Who wrote The Maze Runner?
I think we're giving that guy more
Notoriety.
more notoriety to the point where people are going to be saying, "Oh, I'm going to go out and go buy the Maze Runner."
I got you know.
No, all they have to do is listen to our podcast on The Maze Runner. They won't want to write. They want to read it.
Fame and infamy are not the same thing.
So, all right, we're coming to the end. Let's draw the next book.
You gotta get the TARDIS.
There's only 2.
There's only 2 left in.
And then,
Yeah.
and then when we meet next time, we'll put more
Yeah.
books in.
Reload it.
See flashlight. I'm a survivor.
Right. Lovely torch there.
What?
He keeps it in
What?
the boot.
Yeah.
I keep it in my pants boot.
All right, so the last 2 books
No.
are between
Trouser
Wayne
boot.
and
Trouser
Lewis.
underwear.
Oh my
So
God, that's
who,
right.
who wants to pick it? Wayne or Lewis?
Well, somebody. You're
Somebody
sitting between
else.
them.
Yeah,
You're
somebody
sitting
else.
between
Okay.
them. So
Yeah.
you pick it. Whichever one you love them more.
Okay, we are reading Callahan's Cross Time Saloon by Spider
Alright.
Robinson.
All right.
That sounds like a hoot and a half.
Suggested by Wayne.
I already have it on Audible.
Cross time.
I already have my copy.
I got my copy.
I'll download mine tomorrow.
All
Actually,
right,
I may have that one. No, I
Well,
don't think I do. I don't know.
that's it.
All right.
I'll shoot
where
it.
the
Which
book-
means that if you guys finish the book, you could just start the second one since there's only one
Right.
left.
Yeah, we know which one we'll draw. We won't even have to draw it. We'll just assign it and then
Yeah.
put all the new ones in. Yeah.
All right.
So, well, bye.
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 So long. Have a good one.
So there you have it. That was our discussion on The Haunting of Ashburn House by Darcy Coates. Next up, we will be discussing Cross Time Saloon, Callahan Saloon, part of the Cross Time Callahan Saloon series. Admittedly, I fell in love with this book series. I went a little overboard, and I think I read like 5 of the books in the series. So for me at this point, it all bleeds together. But it's absolutely brilliant science fiction writing. Some of the best I've ever read. Wayne had been telling me about this book for years, and it is a very Wayne pun-tastic. If you got a problem with puns, you're not going to like this book. But I hope you join us next time for Callahan's Cross Time Saloon. It's really good. I can't recommend this one enough. Like I said, I went overboard and read about 4 or 5 of the books. And it was fun reading. So with that said, I hope to see you next time.